This is the way that I always envision it. If this is my Viper ulti, it's like, hey, this is the golden spot. This is the absolutely do not fucking stand there spot. I would much rather save this wall for retake than die here trying, right? If you're gonna try to make a play, you need to do something aggressive. You need to do something a little crazy, a little frisky, right? It's hard to build up that habit of being close to your teammates, ready to trade them whenever they're doing something stupid and no calming, right? This is one of the hardest things to build up, so I don't even want to fault you for it too much. Be conscious of it, try to improve it, but it's fucking hard, okay? Man, I feel like I gotta take a look at so many Icebox VODs. Maybe you guys just really hate Icebox. This one's from Adam, who is actually Mr. Nuts, who I actually know. So I'm excited to look at this VOD. I believe I follow you on Twitter, Mr. Nuts, and you seem pretty cool. So we'll take a look at this VOD. He's gonna be playing Viper, who's one of my favorite agents on this map. So I played a lot of Viper, so I think that I'll be able to give a lot of critique here. I think I'm a pretty good Viper on this map. I think I have like a 65% win rate, 75, something like that, which is pretty decent in a world. So I used to hate playing on Icebox, and then I learned Viper, and now I don't hate it as much. She's kind of fun. I'm also picking up KO on this map. KO is pretty cool too. So we're gonna see this wall here. So this is the old retake wall, and I actually don't love it for a couple of reasons right now. Basically, what you're going to see is that this wall is going to cover all of this section, but this allows players from here to actually kind of just walk all the way up here for free, right? Like you can't hold this anymore, so there's not really any threat of you holding it when you put it up. So it becomes kind of awkward when it's like, okay, well, the wall goes up here. I guess it blocks off like kind of on top of gray, blocks off kind of on top of yellow. Actually, not where you're aiming at, I don't think, but and it'll kind of like set you up for retake. But I don't like it as much as I used to when yellow was like kind of slanted for whatever reason. When the yellow was slanted, it felt better, I guess, maybe because like it went in front of it and like it just worked perfectly. Oh, it was also the entrance over here that made it a lot easier because it would block off the door to the entrance, so it worked okay. But now it doesn't feel like it's as good, and what I like to use instead is like this, right? It goes straight down mid, and then this is cool because it gives me the ability to rotate freely through here and kind of like bait or like lurkers and stuff out. So there's a couple times where it's like I'll rotate through mid and I'll just run straight through, and then I'll turn around and like I'll just like go silent and I'll try to hold it, and I'll see like rotator or like lurkers will try to like walk through and stuff. So this is a D2 D3 game, by the way. I think it's cool. Like for a lot of like the VOD reviews I've done in the past, I always look at like lower ranked players, but as the Patreon's growing, like we're getting better and better players who are submitting. It's actually really cool to see. I don't think your knife makes you that much faster than the pistol, so small things. But see what I mean, by the way, with this wall, it kind of hurts you. Because before you were kind of like just you can jiggle like one choke point, but when you throw this wall up, you actually have no idea if somebody's like right here. You're already kind of noticing how awkward it is to hold. So, 5-man KO knife from mid, probably mostly. So when you spot 4-man actually. Yeah, when you spot 4, you're kind of just like lurking around here. I would probably run to help these guys like immediately. So like don't walk around like you're a little scared. Try to be more like more assertive. Like this seems to be the common theme of the VODs I'm looking at today. You just need to play with more confidence. This is the kitchen. You have a Spectre right now. You should have the advantage, maybe. No, they have a chamber, so maybe not.
One enemy remaining.
Cool. This is just a cool discussion to have, so I thought I'd mention it, right? Back right here. So basically what I said is like you have the gun advantage, I think, right now because it's 1-0. So you have a Spectre and they probably are on pistols. That being said, some like a rule that I've started to follow, you're only stronger than like the strongest player. So if Chamber has a deagle on you and you don't know where anybody is, the chamber could very well be the one swinging you right now, right? So if he has this deagle and you have a Spectre from this range, that's a duel that you wouldn't set up to take, if that makes sense, right? If you are not stronger than every player on their team at that range, I probably wouldn't hold that angle until you know that you're going to be stronger than every player that you could duel, right? So if we gain information basically that Chamber is over on A, and now I know that Chamber's on A, so that means that the last 2 players are probably on pistols, I could probably take a longer range duel. I could probably take that gamble. I guess they could have a deagle, unlikely, but like I guess it's possible. I guess they have a Spectre now too because they killed teammates, so I guess that's possible too. But just like the idea of like, if you know that you are stronger than most players, but you're not stronger than all players, and you don't know where all the players are, probably play safe. That's basically what I'm saying, right? I think Chamber is like a really obnoxious introduction to the game because he really amplifies that issue where he's just always stronger than everybody. Like, he just always has the capability to kill you, so it makes it so you kind of have to play differently. Let's try. I'm getting out. I don't have a lot of fuel right now, right? I would much rather save this wall for retake than die here trying, right? So yeah, that's really bad. If you're going to stick that, it's very important that you come out with a kill. Obviously, that's not really like anything you have too much control over. But what I'm thinking right now is, okay, You went for the play or whatever. Molly comes out, pull out our Spectre. We go for the peek. We swing a little wide. Obviously, you're trying to kill this Viper. Once you realize you're exposed to everyone, I like how you isolated. But once she tags you down to like 3 HP, what I'm thinking is, how do I still get value in this round? If I kill somebody, that's value, right? That's pretty okay for an eco. But what I'm thinking is, I have 50 fuel. Fuel's decaying faster because we have our smoke orb and our wall up right now. I'm running, right? I'm trying to get the fuck out of here because I want to save this wall for retake, right? If they come here into sight, I want my teammates to at least be able to get some sort of value out of me. If you die, then they don't get any value out of you. You're just gonna die, and then there's like nothing left, right? So although it's unlikely that you're going to retake in 4v5 when you guys are on worse guns, very unlikely, right? You could go for a killer right here, but I mean, at this point, you're 3 HP. I don't think anything's happening, right? Very unlikely. And if something is going to happen, you need to play with more confidence, right? You kind of need to throw them off. You can't just sit back and wait to get cleared, right? That's the interesting thing about Valorant. We've talked about it before. There's not always one right decision. That being said, like, you didn't make any of the right decisions right there. You know, so it's like it's not really for me to say whether swinging there is probably better or falling back is probably better. I think it's a tough call to make, but I think that absolutely what you did was not the right call. Okay, starting with the round, doing the same wall. And I would just love to see you mix it up, right? You could try out different setups and like you can do different things. Think about it this way, right? You're using the Viper wall in the same spot every single time. Is that the best place to use the wall 100% of the time? Probably not. The best place to use the wall 50% of the time? Maybe. What I started thinking about with Viper players and like just smoke players in general, they all do the same things, right? They smoke the same spots over and over and over again. And what ends up happening is that they just like, they don't know how to get value out of their agent when they're not getting value out of those things, right? Or as much value out of those specific smokes, right? So if you're not getting enough value out of your Viper wall, try to mix it up. Try to something different, right? Maybe you feel like you're getting a ton of value this game. I don't feel like you're using it as a retake setup all that much. So. And it's supposed to be like a retake setup, so. Just the way I think about it, right? Yeah, you get tagged by that Reyna here. And I know that like she blinds mid and you want to kind of like try to stop her from getting kitchen. You have to start learning how to play on when you're on this low HP, right? So like over on yellow, when we talked about like you're kind of like walking around and you're like 3 HP and it's like, okay, do I stay alive and save my utility or do I try to make a play? If you're gonna try to make a play, you need to do something aggressive. You need to do something a little crazy, a little frisky, right? Swinging this Reyna, not the frisky play I would have made. This is a 1v1 duel and she's just prepared for it. She only has one place to aim, right? You're not gonna swing her from the left. So you're just swinging for the right and then you just end up dying. But think about like, is there a way that I could have played like maybe some sort of like dumb angle, like an off angle, and just try to like hold it and just try to see if she pushes up, right? Maybe you could have learned to pick there. Maybe you could have played for info instead, right? Maybe you could have grouped up with your teammates so they could trade you. There's a lot of ways that you could have approached this. You didn't just need to swing her, you know? I would like to see you doing something, you know? You know what I'm saying? Like you're just watching your Yoru walk up here, be long, and you're like, hopefully you'll get value from Snowman, right? Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, just look at the map and watch how you're positioned, like, related to your teammates. Not necessarily in this game, but just in all of your games, right? This seems to be an issue for you. So it's like, this is why I would say to do that. Like, when you're playing these matches, start looking up at the map and actually, like, genuinely think, what am I doing right now? What is my role right here? You're holding for a push right now. I understand that. But your chamber is also fighting site, right? It's like, maybe I want to, like, try to push in and help my chamber, right? Clear my left, maybe. Go for a spam.
One enemy remaining.
Nice, good kill. So you ping it, but call it too, right? Call it in chat. You have to spam kill through the smoke. I would dissuade doing that. I know you've gotten 2 kills doing it this game, so it's like I'm not gonna critique you too much for it. I guess it's clearly working. For the most part, like when you see that Viper ulti, the most effective way to deal with that is by trading your teammate out, not just like spraying into a smoke and hoping that you kill him, right? Because like I said, against good Viper players, you're not gonna get a spam kill because they're not gonna stand in spots like that, right? It's gonna be very hard to get a spam kill on me because I'm constantly thinking about where I'm positioned correlated to where my enemies are and what they would possibly spam. What common angles are in line of sight right now for them that they might try shooting at, right? And I try to stand in like the most obscure spots. The way I visualize it is there's like danger zones, right? Like if there's a pie and it's like, this is like a red spot. Like I really don't want to stand here, right? And like this is like a blue spot where it's like, this is pretty safe, right? People don't really stand here. That's pretty good. It's like a check mark, right? And then there's like yellow spots that are like, okay, well, like if you need to panic, This might be okay, right? Like maybe you could come to this panic spot. This is the way that I always envision it. If this is my Viper ulti, it's like, hey, this is the golden spot. This is the absolutely do not fucking stand there spot. And this is the, I'm in a mess. Okay, maybe I need to go position over there, right? This is how I would think about the ultimates. And constantly when I'm in my Viper ulti, I'm always just thinking about these things because I have nothing else to do. Because people don't push Viper ultis all that often, right? People aren't just running into my Viper ulti. I'm normally thinking about, okay, how can I just stay alive and hold the space for my team? So in the same wall, you could even like, if you wanted to, just come play A, right? I know there's not like a ton of great walls on B. You can do a wall like this sometimes. And that's pretty decent. And then maybe throw your orb like over here or something. And that'll create like panic for them. Or maybe the orb right here. And then you have teammates hold this swing. You could also just go over towards A. And maybe you could do like a wall like this across. That one's pretty decent. And then like they just makes it hard to push onto site. I think I maybe have seen walls like this before that are kind of weird. You could do a wall towards mid, maybe even that like cuts off all this, makes it really annoying for them to hold mid. Like you can mix up these walls. It doesn't need to be the same old every single time. Watch some pro Vipers. Watch like Swoopy.
So lucky.
Watch Unadaro, you know? It doesn't take that long. I think that's something that's really interesting about like gathering new information. You can go to these creators who like have thousands of hours on the game, watch like 6 of their videos and just copy the shit that they do, right? Their videos are like 10 minutes long. It's like what, an hour of your time to learn like probably 15 different Viper walls across all maps, right? Not like 15 per map for the YouTube commenters, 15 across like all maps. Like you could probably figure out like 15 different walls. I guarantee you. Okay, coming up here. Yeah, your trade spacing is kind of atrocious, to be entirely honest, but I think this is one of the hardest things to build up, so I don't even want to fault you for it too much. Be conscious of it, try to improve it, but it's fucking hard, okay? It's hard to build up that habit of being close to your teammates, ready to trade them whenever they're doing something stupid and no calming, right? It's something you got to do, especially as a support player. You got to know how to keep that spacing with your teammates and be ready to trade them, but it's hard. Baiting is like, it's one of the biggest insults you can give a player is saying that they're baited. But it's also one of the hardest things to do properly is trade your teammates. Go deeper, go deeper. That's a weird thing to say. But, again, let's talk about common spam spots, right? Why are you leaving the ulti? I'm just gonna drill this into Viper players' brains until the end of the time, okay? What I want you to recognize here, Mr. Nuts, is that you wanting to leave your ult is a problem. Because this ultimate is so right? There's such a large area, everybody in it gets down to 1 HP. I get the early advantage on them because I can see their outlines, they can't see mine, right? And I know how to position in this thing. I've used the same ultis multiple times, I've been in the same scenario. They're not used to pushing me in this ulti. I'm used to defending in this ulti. So it's like, you have the major advantage in your ultimate. So don't use subpar ultimates that you want to leave. Don't use this ultimate and then try to back up out of it. Why would you do that? Why don't you just hang out in it? Well, the reason that you don't hang out in it, this is what I'm drilling into your Viper players' heads. The reason you don't want to hang out in this ulti is because it's a bad fucking ulti, right? It's because they can walk all the way around yellow. They can flank you in it. The only safe spots for you to stand are kind of awkward. They're in the middle of these spray paths, right? Right next to the spike. I don't want to be right next to the spike. I want a little distance between me and the spike. I can't really push into sight because there's just players here, right? They could be in the ulti. So it's like, I end up in a situation where I want to keep falling back. I want to leave the ulti because I'm getting pushed and I'm afraid. They're using util, they're forcing me back. But instead, if I use my ulti in a place where I can kind of back myself into a corner, maybe like right here, maybe even over here, where it's like I can kind of like steer myself towards this side, I'm gonna be a lot better off, right? Now I don't have to worry about them wrapping around me and flanking me. It's still in the spike. I have more room to work with, right? It can be a lot better. But when you're ulting in these areas where they can just wrap around it, it gets kind of bad, right? It gets a little frisky. I want you to use your ultimates in a way where you want to stay in them. You don't want to leave your ult. Because when you leave your ult, stuff like that happens. And when stuff like that happens, stuff like this happens. Okay, it would have been cooler if you lost the round. It would have been a lot cooler if that didn't happen. But basically what I'm saying, yeah, just stay in your ulti so you don't die. 11-10 right now. Okay, now you're lurking at mid, but you didn't use your smoke at all this game, so you can't use your smoke now. Because if you use your smoke now, it's going to call too much attention to your lurk, right? You didn't set up that default, you didn't set up that precedent by using the smoke mid every round. So now it's like, okay, well now I don't get to use any of my util because I'm not walling for my teammates right now because then they'll know exactly where I am. So it's like now I'm just gonna kind of like walk up and I'm gonna hope that they don't watch this. I hope that they don't have an op trained on me right now, you know? It's just so unfortunate. you're just like walking through here. You're like, anybody? Any picks? I'm just surprised that you didn't find anybody, to be entirely honest. But like, no, when you're walking through there, it's just, yeah, that just sucks, man. It just sucks. You're a controller, you didn't use any of your util for your team. You weren't establishing a precedent, so you couldn't really use it for yourself. So it's just like you end up in such an awkward situation where it's like, okay, well, now we're on the final round, potentially. Probably, because it looks like this VOD ends. Somebody died rafters. I'm like trying to calm that to you, you know? Again, if your KO loses the space, right? They can walk all the way through here, they can get onto backside. So where are you going to position in this ult? I want to see if your position looks as awkward as it did before, right?
One enemy remaining.
Don't kill him, KO. Please, let me see where he positions. Comes back here. Okay, it's not terrible. Like, so say, I mean, you're not in a 1v1, so I can't really say that. But say, for example, you use the same ultimate in a 1v1, right? Where would you position? You don't know where the player is, right? He could be coming around this way, Maze. He could be coming around this way over here. He could be walking out rafters. He could be maybe going up nest, right? So like, I guess maybe I put my back to Gen, but then I'm kind of worried that this guy just walks around here and like swings me Gen, you know? And then I'm just stuck on generator, right? Or maybe he walks through here and like he catches me like just like slipping because I'm trying to watch back sight, right? There's so many different areas with this ultimate where it's like, it's so awkward. You can't put your back to any wall. Even right here, you could still like walk up behind you right here. You can still kind of sneak in, right? So it becomes so awkward. Whereas like if you ult just a little bit deeper, you just go a little deeper. It covers all this back sight. I've talked about this so many times in VODs, but it's so important to me. I'm so tired of watching Viper players do this, you know? That's why I bring it up. I think it's a really big deal. Main things I would focus on for Mr. Nuts right here, because I think this is his first VOD with me. Main things I would focus on is one, switching up his setups. Like I said, go watch a couple swoopy videos, Unidara videos, and just like pick up a couple different walls that you can do, right? Figure out some more creative things that you can do with your Viper wall, because you're using it for the same purposes every time. It's fucking boring to watch, and it's probably not getting that much value. I didn't see it give very much value this game. Maybe other games is different, but I think that you really need to learn some new setups so that you know how to mix it up when you need to, right? Now that being said, your defense was pretty good. You guys went 9-3, so I mean, you did okay. Other than that, smoking mid on your attack every round, just smoke it, right? What were you using your smoke for otherwise? Absolutely nothing. Like maybe you throw it on the bomb for post plant. It's like just smoke mid. You're not going to use it for anything else, and then you'll throw it up, and then you'll throw it down, and then you'll throw it up, and then you'll throw it down, and you'll just be messing with people in mid. When they see the smoke go up, they're going to think, is Viper here? Is somebody here? Is somebody lurking right now? Let me check this out. Like, they're going to watch the smoke. They can't push through it. If they push through it, what are they going to do? They're going to die, right? You're just holding it. And then you can play around it a little bit more, too, if you want to. That one round when you're walking through here, you can't use your smoke because you haven't been setting up the precedent, right? You haven't been doing it. Oh yeah, you're spacing on your teammates. You just need to pay attention to where you're positioned based off of where your teammates are positioned and how you can like help them out. Those big three things: trading your teammates, being real close with them, using some better Viper ultimates, and then using your smokes a little bit closer or towards mid, right? You gotta take advantage of that smoke, and then mixing up your setups. Yeah. So those are the big four, I suppose. But if you're a Viper player, hopefully you learn to think of two. If you're watching this on YouTube, feel free to check out the Patreon. You can get your VOD reviewed and stuff like that. We have all the VODs submitted there for you to view, and then you can get your VOD reviewed by me. Yeah, other than that, I freaking love you guys. Peace out.